There's a lot of talk about what it takes to succeed. Within that talk are discussions on being born on the right side of the tracks, getting a good education, and never dropping out of high school. Statistics show that those born into a stable family and finish high school on time have a much higher probability of success compared to their counterparts. But what if I showed you the story of a man who was adopted, grew up relatively poor, dropped out of high school, and got fired from multiple jobs? Who would find the inner tenacity and grit to form the third largest hamburger chain in the world? Dave Thomas was loved, cheered, and stood tall as a role model to aspiring entrepreneurs and philanthropists worldwide. For this article, I will detail the inspirational story of Dave Thomas. Dave Thomas was born on Saturday, July 2nd, 1932 in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Dave was adopted by Rex and Aluva Thomas soon after his birth, and according to various accounts, Dave Thomas never met his birth mother. When Dave was just 5 years old, Aluva died near Kalamazoo, Michigan. When Rex left to seek work opportunities, Dave was sent to live with his adoptive grandmother, Minnie Thomas, in Maine. It was while living with Minnie that Dave says he was taught the value of customer service, respect, and the mantra of never cut corners, the latter of which would go on to explain why Dave's eventual successful hamburger concept would be shaped in squares. Between ages 12 and 21, Dave would eventually move back in with father, as they relocated to Fort Wayne, Indiana. While in Fort Wayne, Dave would try his hand in various restaurant roles. Dave was fired from some of the positions due to management disputes, among other issues, but showed dedication to the restaurant industry and didn't allow the temporary setback to deter his passion. Dave was so dedicated that he completely dropped out of high school to focus full-time on restaurant duties. In addition, when the Korean Wars started, Dave enlisted in the army and served in a major food service role, helping to feed thousands of U.S. soldiers during that time period. When Dave returned home from serving in the Korean War in the mid-1950s, he returned back to Hobby House, one of the restaurants he worked at previously in Fort Wayne. It was during this time that he ran into Colonel Sanders, who at the time was in the midst of trying to sell his KFC franchise across the country. Colonel Sanders eventually got the owners of Hobby House to franchise some of his chicken restaurants, which gave Dave the opportunity to work alongside the Colonel. However, some of the franchises began to struggle with sales, and the Colonel made Dave an offer that if he could help turn around the stores, he would be awarded equity interest. By the late 1960s, Dave had increased sales of the franchise stores and on the side helped the Colonel increase KFC's branding and marketing efforts. This success inspired Dave to finally branch out on his own with an innovative burger concept, selling back to the Colonel his KFC franchise ownership interest, reportedly around $1.5 million, and using the capital to help launch his own enterprise. At first, Dave struggled with what to name his burger concept and eventually settled in on the nickname of one of his daughters, Melinda Lou Thomas. Melinda's nickname was Wendy because at the time, being only 7 or 8 years old, she struggled to pronounce her own full name and was instead provided with the Wendy nickname. Dave decided to name his first business Wendy's and opened the first restaurant on Saturday, November 15th, 1969 in Columbus, Ohio, with the tagline, "Quality is our recipe." From 1970 to 82, the Wendy's operations grew rapidly to over 1,000 units. This rapid growth was due in part to Dave revolutionizing the pickup window concept, using fresh meat for their burgers, introducing a full salad bar, introducing a 99-cent super value menu, and revolutionizing the way franchises were sold by selling them in bulk to cities and regions, rather than as individual units. Dave would go on to retire from Wendy's in 1982, and during Dave's absence, the brand began experiencing various operational issues. The new leadership's direction hurt the company's branding, hurt its franchising direction, and created a new menu that wasn't positively received from the public. All of these circumstances led to decreased sales across the board and a dramatic slowdown in franchising. As a result, the new leadership eventually caved in and urged Dave to return to the company in the late 1980s to save the brand and put it back on the growth track. Dave's first order of business was to visit franchisees, suggesting that they acquire an MBA, which in this case didn't stand for Master of Business Administration, but instead stood for Mop Bucket Attitude. It was an attitude of putting the customers first and serving them eagerly as if your last dollar depended on it. It was a shift back in mindset to creating an operation that put the customers at the center of the decisions being made, including that of the menu listing. In addition, Dave would begin his nationwide commercial campaigns that would eventually lead not to just putting Wendy's brand and operations back on the growth track, but to Dave becoming a beloved international role model and celebrity. Many of the successful commercials featured Dave himself, while others either solely or guest featured various entertainers, such as Clara Peller with the popular Where's the Beef campaign. Dave would continue to lead the Wendy's brand from the late 1980s until the time of his death on Tuesday, January 8, 2002. Today, in 2018, Wendy's has over 6,500 locations globally and is the third largest hamburger chain, trailing only McDonald's and Burger King. Dave's legacy lives on, not just through the ultra success of the Wendy's brand, but also through Dave's books, speeches, and motivational material on entrepreneurial success. In addition, Dave's passion for both education and adoption still serves as a major community development tool to this day. In 1993, despite having dropped out of high school prior, Dave went back to Coconut Creek High School in Fort Lauderdale, Florida to receive his GED and then went on to establish the Thomas Center at Duke University, along with the Enterprise Ambassador Program at Nova University. Both programs focus on business-related education. Dave wanted to leave a legacy that would help foster kids find quality parents for adoption. So in 1992, he created the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption. Dave's passion for adoption was also taken to Washington and sparked the creation of bills related to giving tax credits to parents who adopt foster children. Dave was a visionary, a patriot, a leader, a role model, and an inspiration. The legacy of Dave Thomas will live on forever in the hearts and minds of every entrepreneur who opens a business with the goal of customer service and community development at the forefront. While Dave went through hardships early on in life, he didn't allow his passion to be deterred along the way. Dave's story is a testament to just how far tenacity can take you as an entrepreneur. In his own words, "You can do what you want to do. You can be what you want to be. There's no one to stop you but yourself." Those are wise words coming from him. With almost 200,000 franchises in the US alone, Wendy's has proven to be one of the biggest fast food chains in the world. First known for its unusual square beef patties made from fresh ingredients, the quick service restaurant has expanded its menu offering with a breakfast menu earlier this year, which has successfully boosted sales in the US. Thus, it comes as no surprise that Wendy's has jumped onto the bandwagon to make its services more digitized in today's age of technological advancement. From the usage of social media strategies to implementing self-order kiosks in their outlets, Wendy's is able to stay as one of the top 10 restaurants in the fast food restaurant space by staying relevant to their customers. The fast food chain has implemented various digital initiatives such as mobile ordering and self-service kiosks in their stores, among others, to keep up with the latest fast food restaurant trends. They even utilize Google Preferred and TrueView to achieve the optimal audience and timing for their advertisements on YouTube, as they know that breaking through the audiences of the new media required a different set of requirements than that of the traditional media. Additionally, Wendy's built a tech innovation center and solely for the purpose of building the Wendy's of the future, the 90 Degrees Lab. The lab focuses on improving the brand's website apps and self-order kiosks to ensure that their customers' needs are consistently met with evolving technology, all in the name of improving their customer experience. By focusing efforts on digitization and consistently innovating, Wendy's is able to stay relevant and fulfill their customers' changing needs. It is worthy to note that while a digital transformation is imperative, Wendy's also acknowledges the importance of staying true to its roots. That is by focusing on their quality of food, offering great value and service to customers while constantly improving their restaurants. The same mission founder Dave Thomas had when he opened its first Wendy's outlet. The pandemic crisis that hit the world earlier last year brought about much panic and precariousness in the country, leading to changes in consumers' habits, tastes, and preferences. For one, commuting to the office is minimized to reduce the risk of human contact. Naturally, this results in less drive-through breakfast or even purchase of the morning meal in general, affecting the likes of major fast food restaurants such as McDonald's and Taco Bell. However, Wendy's is the only one to buck the trend. Despite launching their breakfast items right before the lockdowns began, 7% of their sales belonged to their breakfast menu, which added about 6.5% to its US same-store sales growth of 6.6% in its third quarter. This is a major feat of the fast food chain, which has never excelled in the breakfast space. The unexpected success of the launch could be attributed to Wendy's decision to revise their breakfast strategy by reducing marketing and manpower needed during the morning shift. Wendy's way of adapting to the new COVID-19 world plays a huge role in them being able to stay afloat and even thrive, despite the despondent circumstances of the pandemic. Needless to say, in order to succeed even in the worst of times, it's important for a company to easily adjust its strategies when an unforeseen event strikes. The recipe for Wendy's success in the quick service restaurant industry is a cumulative effort of the brand's adaptive strategies, as seen from the digitization efforts and changes in breakfast menu during the pandemic. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and feel free to subscribe to stay updated with our future videos. Thanks for watching!